All right, rewatchers, welcome back. We've hit that time portal and we are ready for another retro rewatch. Today, what we are going to do is another hot watch. Last time we did Dominique, which was kind of a unique action movie. And today we're going to do something similar. It's another smaller action movie that I don't know how many people have heard of, but you probably should, especially if you like action. Um, what we're going to be talking about today is Warhorse One. Let's see if we can get it. You see that pretty good? All right, great. It is a release from Magnet, does have a slip sleeve on it. Um, so this is a movie that is written, directed, and I think like the soundtrack is done by him, and I think some of the editing, producing, but it's Johnny Strong. I don't know how many people know who Johnny Strong is, but he was actually in Black Hawk Down. He was either Gary Gordon or Randy Sugar. I think he was Gary Gordon, one of the snipers that was with Team Delta. He was one of the two that was killed at the Black Hawk site that they were trying to secure until backup could arrive. They were Medal of Honor winners. I think they were the first Medal of Honor winners since Vietnam. So that was a big deal in 1993. So let's talk about Warhorse One a little bit. So the setup of this story is it's about a Navy SEAL who is in country in Afghanistan. And it's actually, yeah, it's set during the time whenever the troops are being pulled out of Afghanistan and how chaotic that is. And there's people that have been translators for the military that were helping the U.S. military. A lot of them were Christian, stuff like that. And so now they are becoming targets by the Taliban and other hostile bodies in Afghanistan that are retaking control as the Americans are pulling out. That happened under the Biden administration. And so you've got this team of SEALs that are supposed to go in and pick up one of the last families that was helping the U.S. in some of the last embassies before they pull out, and they are being hunted. And so, as the SEAL team is going to the extraction site for the family, the helicopter comes under attack and it's shot down. But this one SEAL survives. He actually falls out of the helicopter after it's been hit. And I will say one thing about the movie before we go much further. There is a fair amount of the movie that happens in Hollywood Perfect Happy Land, where yes, it might be hyper reality, it might be past reality, what could actually happen, but there are several steps along the way where it would have to at best be in a perfect world for some of the stuff to happen. But that being said, as an action movie, it still works really well. But so he falls out of the helicopter and survives and regroups himself and is a SEAL. I mean, special forces, I mean, the mission must go on. And so he is working his way towards both the crash site because he needs to verify that anybody else on the team is surviving or dead, and also get to the family. And unfortunately, there's actually another theme here. You know, in Dominique, we talked about there was severe violence towards children, and actually in this movie, it happens again. Albeit, I think the context of how it happens in this movie is a little different by the fact it happens early. The family is intercepted before the SEALs can get to them because I mean they're shot down. I mean they're delayed, and they kill most of the family that's trying to get out. But one of the daughters survives, and so Johnny Strong's character gets to. I wish I could remember his name. It's been. I'm actually gonna. We're gonna take a second. We're gonna look that up because it's important. Um, for one of the other things that I'm going to talk about. And my keyboard isn't working. Sorry, bear with me for a second. All right, so this came out in 2023. It is rated R, 2 hours and 6 minutes. That actually is probably something I should be mentioning on these things. So, but he plays Master Chief Richard Murko. And so, anyway, so this character finds the girl, and so there's some significant Afghani forces that are descending upon them, and he is still trying to get her to another safe extraction zone. And there are many instances of him engaging the enemy. The sound design of this thing is excellent, where Dominique had very second-rate sound design. The sound design in this one was like top tier, at least as far as the guns and sound effects. Now there were some places where the speech is a little muffled. The way Johnny Strong speaks, he is very gruff and very bass to begin with. So sometimes his words will kind of almost slur in to what he's saying. But the gunshots, man, like throughout the entire movie, you've got like zips where like it's almost like it's going past your ear. You've got pops, cracks. There's several different guns, M4s, M15s, pistols, shotguns, AK-47s that all have very unique sounds. And the way the direction of in the room where it's coming from is very good. Um, um, Again, we do have several instances throughout the movie where we have kind of have best case scenarios on some of this stuff, you know, where characters are taken captive and we're able to get them out and find them. You know, some evasion of the enemy. I mean, when one guy's taken on 15 to 20, they're probably going to surround him. So um, stuff like that. Although that being said, there are situations where he does move and shoot a lot, where it's hard to get a spot on him where he's able to lay down fire and he's able to back himself into certain areas where you can't get around him. And you can tell that this dude has spent a lot of time with weapons, probably being trained by special forces. There's multiple times in the movie where a weapon jams and it doesn't cut. It shows him stopping to clear the jam, get the clip out, get the bullet out, get the clip back in, re-engage the bullet, and then re-engage the enemy. And that happens multiple times. I mean, he changes his clips a lot. So I mean, there's a lot of that action that is very real and very good. And and I mean, he absolutely takes damage. But there again, kind of similar to Dominique, I mean, there is a superhumanness to it where, I mean, he takes way more abuse and damage than your average person would survive from. But apparently the movie did well enough because there's already two movies more that are planned. The next one is named Savage, and the third one's named Mirko. And I absolutely hope that they get made because it's definitely worth watching. It's a very enjoyable film. Again, go into it understanding this is an action movie, and while it does happen in real places, you know, with some realistic type stuff, there's some hyper reality to it that you know you're just going to have to live with. Um, but it's really good. You know, nowadays there's not a whole lot of what I consider very good action movies, and I don't know there's a whole lot of good action movies with strong male characters, and this is definitely one of them. And it's really interesting that he did so much. I mean, he wrote this movie, like I said, and directed it, and then did the score as well. So I mean, it was absolutely a passion project of his to try and get made. And I'm glad that it did well enough for him that you know that he's going to have two more coming up. Um, I don't know that there's anything else that I really feel like saying about it other than I think this, let's see, let's look and see what the score is on this thing. It gets a 5.4. So it actually is very similar to Dominique as far as the aggregate score. That being said, I enjoyed this one more than Dominique, and I would absolutely watch this one again, no doubt. I actually wouldn't mind watching it right now. Um, it's a good movie. I think people that watch it will enjoy it. Just know what you're getting into. And so that's it. We've wrapped up another hot watch and we have hit the end of the tape. We're going to hit the rewind button, get to the video store, and we will see you next time.